When women's rights are under attack, what do?
Stand up, fight back!
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
No, I think marches and rallies are really important, especially when we have current events or current issues that need to be talked about. These rallies are really important because you see how many people either want to join in or cheer you on from the streets, and I think that's the most valuable part about being an organizer and about pushing that message forward and getting people more involved in our movement.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The patriarchy has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The patriarchy has got to go!
I'm here today because we're celebrating Women's Equality Day. It's clear that with Trump's attacks on women's rights and reproductive rights in general, that there's a lot to go. We need to cement preventive reproductive rights and equal pay for everyone. Housing, we need to end housing discrimination and employment discrimination for women and all LGBTQ people who are especially oppressed by the discrimination they face there.
Una madre y una miembro del Partido para Socialismo y Liberación.
We're 2 days away from celebrating and commemorating the fact that women got the right to vote through Amendment 19, but there's still a lot to work to do. You know, we also have Roe versus Wade, but that's constantly under attack. We have pregnancy crisis center like the one behind you today that really are there to lie to women and to shame them into having children by force. And it's you know, the right to abortion is also a right for us to have determination of our own bodies. And so we need to protect the little rights that we have because as we can see, as soon as they're given to us, they're quickly taken away.
So how can this be in like the greatest country in the world, supposedly? The fact is, despite this country's appearance of concern for women's issues, despite its so-called leadership on women's rights, our economy is not organized around women's issues. It's not organized in a way to effectively fix these systemic problems in our society. Equal pay, environmental rights, LGBTQ rights, immigrant rights are all women's struggles. They are part and parcel to our struggle against oppression and capitalism.
Women's Equality Day to me means it's a day to, one, look over the achievements of women in the past and the great things women have won, not just with the women's suffrage movement, but the role of black women in the civil rights movement, the role of indigenous women in the role of indigenous rights movements, the role of trans women in gay culture in general and the gay rights movements, but then also look at what we have to do for the future to make sure women's rights are more equitable and we finally achieve true equality in our society.
Since Roe versus Wade, over 1,000 anti-abortion measures have been enacted in different states. The Hyde Amendment makes abortion...
I mean, I just think it's really important that we do it in LA. Every city, I mean, there's only 90% of U.S. counties don't have an abortion clinic, and it really speaks to what's happening, right? People don't realize how restricted we are already and how much it affects working class neighborhoods like MacArthur Park, where we are at, where it's mostly women of color who don't have that access.
I joined PSL because I feel like it's kind of an urgent issue that we need to be talking about today, not tomorrow, not next week.
The PSL is working towards really pointing out the contradictions within living in the richest country in the world, right? People don't have access to abortion on demand or even preventive health care. And so that's very important. People need to have well-paying jobs. They need to have a society that they can live with dignity, women included and LGBTQ people as well.